And standing at 6 feet 4 inches tall, the blocker out of LSU wearing the number 2, rather the number 1 this year, it's Kylie DeBerg. And their opponents, the defending AVP League champions, the San Diego Smash. Standing at 5 feet 9 inches tall, the defender out of USC, it's Gina Urango. And her partner standing 6 feet 1 inches tall, the blocker out of LSU wearing the number 2, it's Tony Rodriguez.
Third meeting all time between these two partnerships. Rodriguez and Urango are 2-0 against DeBerg and Harward, both meetings last season. And in fact, during the league championship, it was 15-9, 15-9. Pretty dominant for the San Diego Smash.
The San Diego Smash went on an epic run to close out the 2024 season, and a big piece is because of their women's duo. They were lights out to end the season.
Playing their best volleyball as the season wore on. That went through the heritage events as well as league play. Gina Urango will get us started. Put a lot of work into that service game. And right away, a big long set to the 6'4" attacker, and that will be a kill for Kylie DeBerg, played her beach career at LSU.
I'm just going to be watching these two blockers going head to head. Again, they are teammates internationally, now facing off as opponents in this.
Urango first, fake swing there by Rodriguez, and it's Urango with the cut shot. The veteran, Gina St. Clair Urango, 35 years old, 5'11", out of USC, first scholarship athlete in that program. Of course, a venerated program now under the guidance of Dane Blanton. Tony Rodriguez, part of another program that has really been establishing itself with the LSU Tigers. Going after her partner right away, and that will be an unfortunate free ball missed opportunity for San Diego.
Speaking of the Tigers, you got another Tiger on the opposite side as well in Kylie DeBerg. These two are not just partners internationally, but they're also very dear friends, so this is even tougher.
I say it's fun to beat people. It's even more fun when they're your friends.
Definition of frenemies here.
Long offense there to the outside, and Urango went short this time, deep to the corner, showing her veteran chops. Played her best volleyball of her career at 34 years old last year.
I mean, she is the reigning AVP MVP. That's hard to say, AVP MVP from 2024 in the league. Big reason why, the service pressure as well as her ability to side out.
Well, we talked to them before getting here to Florida, and both of them mentioned how successful they were with the serve, but how much they have to take those chances as well. Why is that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. With these condensed sets just to 15 points, it's almost this contradictory sense where you have to make sure, hey, we're getting the ball in play, but still being as aggressive as possible.
Nice back set. This time it's Harward. With the dig, she'll run a lot of stuff down, but Rodriguez shuts it down.
There's all the personality from Tony Rodriguez, just dropping that southpaw into the angle and housing Haley Harward.
A little bit under the weather, but over the top of this ball.
Watch this press. Love the alignment. Tries to transition back out, and look, the even stare down through the net.
That's my partner over there you're playing with. Best server last year, Rodriguez, a dart. Urango, good spot, battle at the net. Second time. A third time, this time it's Urango, double axe handle. Oh, another heater from DeBerg.
Lights out, Kylie DeBerg. A couple joust points in the middle of this rally, but this is the hammer.
At 6'4", Kylie DeBerg may be the future physical athlete of USA Volleyball up there. I like that she has two tattoos, one face on one side, the matzah, and the other side, another bearded man.
Whoa!
That chip shot way wide. Interestingly, with DeBerg, actually switched sides last week with Rodriguez, finding that success you mentioned in China. Rodriguez will pass and go back. Should be on the right. That'll be called.
A couple unforced errors on the side of Genie Arango. That chip shot and then the double contact called as well. But to your point about switching sides, that's been one of the biggest differences. And Rodriguez even said one of the big reasons she felt like they were able to be successful as an ace comes to the side of Kylie DeBerg. But one of the big reasons they were able to pick up gold on the FIVB tour. She just feels a lot more comfortable on that left side, but this is the damage DeBerg can do. A little wrist away, back to the line. You got to keep bringing that service pressure.
They're bringing a lot of pressure with a 4-0 run, and they will carry that into a timeout called by San Diego. Last team in last year was this group right here, DeBerg and Harward. They had to defeat Savvy Simo and Abby Van Winkle, who've been so close in a tiebreaker in Chicago, an extra match to even get in, but their game rose throughout the year.
It absolutely did. And one of the big reasons is the block of DeBerg, just second in the league last season in blocks per set. She also was strong from the service line, and that's what you really want to have as a blocker. You want to have somebody that can shut down an attacker and also get a team out of system. And that is exactly what Kylie DeBerg has done. And not to mention Haley Harward, how about leading the league last year in digs?
Yeah, I remember she was getting a lot of digs, but there were breakdowns at times where she wasn't getting as many transition kills as she's certainly capable of.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, considering the fact that she wasn't just out-digging the rest of the women's field. She actually outdug the rest of the men's field in digs per set. That's just how good she was. But just being able to cushion a lot of those defensive plays, keeping that ball on their side, because she is so formidable as an attacker.
DeBerg at the line. Last time at her international partner, Rodriguez, wrist away. What about this time?
I think she goes right back to it. Down the middle.
Other side. Rodriguez will chip over the top. DeBerg kind of getting caught in the DMZ there.
There's this somewhat changing of the guard in terms of blocking mentality. You're starting to see it, especially on the women's side, at the league level as well as internationally, and that's can blockers pull off and play defense. A lot of women are looking to the Brazilians to see how many opportunities can we get defensively while I pull off the net and dig myself.
We're going to see Brandy Wilkerson in our first match on the CBS Sports Network broadcast tonight. She's talked a lot about her ability to peel off the net and make those plays you just mentioned, Cameron. We're looking forward to seeing the silver medalists back in action as Genie Arango and Tony Rodriguez try and cut into this early 8-4 lead for Dallas. Everything in qualification for Chicago. You'll take 6 teams, 6 individual teams from both the men's and the women's side for the championship to that August 30th and 31st conclusion to league play. And that'll be all in your individual play this year. That pass well off the net, nobody up. Chopped right to the line. Precision work by DeBerg and Harward.
That's exactly where Rodriguez even pulled to. She was left looking at that one. What a cut from Haley Harward. Watch the wrist action here. Ball just slightly outside that right shoulder.
DeBerg right back to the middle. Rodriguez, big right side approach and chops it off the block and out of bounds. So aside from that little run of 4-0, holding steady here is San Diego. They're going to have to make some progress. Remember, 15, win by 2. Service game would be a good way to do it. Harward, right side. Seam, middle.
Love the delayed look there from Harward. Got up, elevated, took a second at the top of her jump and let the block and defense establish themselves so that she could find the right shot. That one right through the seam.
Harward this time to Arango, short right. Whole play trending leftward. What do you think about that overhead set, the back set?
I love it. Just creates a different look for the block and defense, and especially having to transition to the other side requires a ton of communication. Set was a little far off the net, but also important when you're going up against Kylie DeBerg.
Tony Rodriguez had a very interesting season. She was playing with a different partners. There's an ace from Urango. Said they were dangerous from the line, proving true. First real point for the Smash. But you mentioned they had chances. Back to DeBerg again. Rodriguez, first touch, second one is just over the top. Mentioned for Rodriguez, to start the season, 2 different partners, 2 different sides, 2 different balls.
2 different practice plans.
That's right.
It's been going back and forth, and that's the same case for each one of these athletes. Having to train with others throughout the week, and then all of a sudden find yourself right back with your AVP League partner.
And 2 different positions.
Yep.
Blocking in one partnership, playing D in the other. Good opportunity here for Harward. She needs this one. Down the line is good, and it converts.
Seen a couple opportunities from Rodriguez. Actually, she's been pulling into the angle against Harward. Both times she's been beat. One into the cut shot, that time back into the line.
Urango and Rodriguez talked about it after the play. We'll see if that translates. It's going to have to be soon. Service is long. We saw that serve be a weapon throughout the year. We also saw it kind of go hot and cold at times.
Speaking of hot and cold, service pressure even from the San Diego Smash. They've been lights out from last year. Let's see if they can move it into this year.
Urango already with 1 ace into that wrist away. Sharp vision zone. Jeannie Urango pulls it back to the line, but a foot fault will be called.
But I love the caginess right there from Jeannie Urango. She actually asked Rodriguez to take a step to her right, almost faking and telling the opposition, like, hey, I'm going to go right back to Kylie DeBerg, but instead she goes down the line. A little trickery on their side. Unfortunately, the football violation on their side.
Harward will serve and play D. Urango stays on the right side. Lots of open net.
I think Kylie DeBerg believed that set was going to actually go behind. Instead, Urango stays in front on that right side. She's been working primarily into the angle. You saw that early cut and then swing this time. She goes wrist away, back to the line.
Rodriguez float serve right down the middle. She'll peel, and that'll be long. Opportunity time here for San Diego. What do you do with the second serve now?
I think you go right back too. You've just found 1 point. Apply even more pressure.
Well, Tony Rodriguez is going to go from the right side to the left side instead.
Does she go down the line?
Harward last time. Harward with the hitting error. As Cameron predicted, down the line. Peeling, dug up. Urango is there. How aggressive will she be? Not at all. Right through the outstretched hands. Harward aggressive.
You want to peek at the right times, Haley Harward. I love that she takes an absolute rip at that ball, challenging the block. She goes right through the arms. But you mentioned this opportunity here from Rodriguez, instead just sending the free ball over. That's a tough ball to attack, but paid the price.
Set point 1, Dallas. Not this time, set point 2 upcoming.
Different look for Rodriguez, coming out of the middle, just finding some of the short angles. I think this ball's going right down the middle.
Dunk straight down on the overpass. They're back within 1.
Trying to pick on some of those high platform angles on Kylie DeBerg.
Well, could it be New York and Indiana out there in match number 1 on the women's side here? A 4-1 run for the San Diego Smash has Dallas utilizing their timeout. We think about Tony Rodriguez right there.
I mean, this team is all fire and ice, and that's one of the great aspects of beach volleyball, right? Is that you get different personalities and have to learn to mesh them together. And these two have truly found a very simpatico relationship. You've got Rodriguez that brings all the energy, and Gina Urango is just a veteran. Like, you can see it even as she's talking and strategizing here.
We have a third member of our team, Olympian Casey Patterson, down on the sand. Case.
Yeah, love it. Tony, I was just watching Gina and Tony scheming in between the sets here, or sorry, before this timeout, and Gina talking to Tony specifically about altering her timing when she pulled, and then they generated 2 real points right away. Then it freed up Gina to go back and serve real tough, and so their ability to change their game plan in this second half of this set to really make a push has been incredible. And watching Gina just be a veteran and the MVP it's still here. She's still the MVP, and she's doing an incredible job.
See if it pays here at the end of the set. Third chance to close for Dallas. Chipped over the top and out of the timeout. They do hold on 15-13.
Great execution.
Dallas has never beaten San Diego 0-2 lifetime. They have taken the first set of the first match of 2025. More from Delray Beach Tennis Center in Florida when we're back.
How about a little magic? How about a little magic, huh?
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Back to Florida. DeBerg and Harward hung on 15-13. It took them 3 set points to close it out, but they were victorious and do lead 1-0 in our best of 3. Kevin Barnett alongside Cameron Irwin as adjustments are being made on the San Diego Smash side. Both of these clubs are returning. We have a number of returning teams.
And it is a real benefit to have spent so much time, not just on the court, but also in this format, and understanding too that you are moving from 21 point sets to now 15-point sets from last season even into this season. So this is important as these teams have a ton of experience.
That was not a misprint there. Yes, returning Brasher and Nuss. That's Taryn Cloth. Married and now taking her married name. So we have a Brasher and Nuss this year. I believe we're getting Brasher and Cruz next year.
That is correct. Lots of life has happened in this offseason, that's for sure.
Lots of life happening in the stadium as Mark Sherman leads some games for the young fans. Come on out and see us throughout the year. We're going to be 2 trips to Florida, a couple to Texas. We'll be in New York twice, going to Central Park as well as East Hampton. And then we will be in Chicago August 30th and 31st for the championships. You'll see 6 women's teams, 6 men's teams vie for the AVP League Championship. Second set action just about to get underway in the 2025 AVP League. Welcome to Delray Beach Tennis Center in Palm Beach, Florida. Kevin Barnett, Cameron Irwin, and Olympian Casey Patterson covering all of our matches this evening. We have 4 tonight, 4 tomorrow. This is our second match of the evening. San Diego Smash Dallas Dream already matched up on the men's side. It was a victory and continued dominance, undefeated last year into this year for Miles Partain and Andy Benish. So it's been all Dallas for 3 sets.
That's true.
See what they can do here in the second. Back to that back set opportunity, and again, everything flowing to the left.
Even though Dallas took that first set, there was a momentum shift by San Diego in the first set, especially near that end. I would love to see them maintain their service pressure. They really applied it to Kylie DeBerg, especially on some of those high angles from her platform. A handful of times they would toss one the direction of Harwood just to make sure she was still engaged, but a lot of pressure being applied on the side out of DeBerg.
Best defender in AVP League play last year, Urango, yet to get going in the first set. Will she here in the second? Can't run that one down either, and the drought continues.
Interestingly enough, too, for DeBerg, one of her primary focuses has been passing. She said she spent a ton of time working on her footwork and making sure she is dialed in.
Both teams applying that service pressure. There's another ace for Kylie DeBerg. Speaking of marriages and proposals, congratulations, Kylie DeBerg. She's also engaged. Wedding plans TBD.
She's got the playlist figured out, though.
Here's a dig from her partner. High bump set, Harwood with a good adjustment and drops it short. Dallas, quick start again.
Yeah, and I love that look from Harwood. Again, she sees the big block of Rodriguez, who really extended herself, not able to pick up some of those shorter angles just off the edge of her block.
A lot of middle serving. Does she look to a corner or an edge? Same middle. Again, off balance, the smash.
How about that set? Impressive off the platform, really having to change the trajectory to get that in front of her partner.
I like that the Blenders sponsored Gina Urango is both ready for volleyball as well as doing science. Tony Rodriguez, look at that ace number last year, leading all athletes in the entire league. Looking short, scoop option, not taken. And Gina can't quite get there.
Oh, Gina was trying. She even started moving into that angle before DeBerg had hand-on-ball contact, just still out of reach. But you mentioned the short serve. That has been an area of focus for Tony Rodriguez. She is the ace leader from last season, but she's trying to add in a little bit of that short stuff.
That ball was served under the net, so that will be donuts tomorrow for everyone, including the TV crew, Haley Harwood.
I mean, we've got dollar beers, free donuts. It's quite the combo.
That would be a nice combo. You serve under the net, doesn't touch the net, you owe. That's how it is. Cut back to the line once again, Urango. Still looking for a dig opportunity. She lets that one go by.
Love that late block to the line from Rodriguez. If you watch the alignment, she actually set up a little bit more in the angle, just a half step right before she went up.
4-4 as a cool breeze by Florida standards trickles into the stadium. Urango digging in. And chipping right into the arms of DeBerg. Love the overhand method and termination from Rodriguez. That'll bring the fire.
How about pulling off the net on both sides of the net with some fierce digs, trying to find the transition. Tony Rodriguez has switched to the defensive side of the game internationally and showing her chops as she throws an overhand dig in the mix there.
Harwood near the middle of the net. She will turn down the line for the winner.
And that's just a pretty controlled look from Harwood. Again, her elevation is what really stands out, and her balance at the peak of her elevation allows her to have great court vision, see those hands, and go after them.
Haley Harwood out of Phoenix, Arizona, played at Long Beach State. Currently living there, 5'9", now 27 years old, looking to make an Olympic run.
I mean, she's already got back-to-back national championships. Why not add Olympian to her name?
Be some fun hardware to go in the closet, wouldn't it?
She's got a lot of rings.
Covering everything but middle, right?
Words of Tony Rodriguez, cover everything but middle, right?
Tony just having fun, putting faith in her skills.
I feel like we need to chat about, we got a chance to catch up with Rodriguez this week. And her approach as she finds an ace right down the line. But man, the energy she had coming on to our conversation this week. Kevin, you got to explain it.
I thought she was going to dance the whole time. We were on Zoom, and usually we get everyone seated in front of us for the Zoom. Well, she was dancing back and forth like a Muppet, going across the stage there.
Popping in and out of the frame.
Yeah, 5-1 run here, generating some energy on her side. Looking for 6. She'll pull. Another pull dig, and a put away.
And that is a next level play from Tony Rodriguez. The one arm stabbed, great vision in transition, and just a 2-footed approach, quick little pump to get up there. Love that from Rodriguez.
The San Diego Smash lost the first set, 15-13, but had a little momentum towards the waning moments of that set. They have carried that here into set number 2, making plays, scoring points. They're up 8-5 on the Dallas Dream.
And some of that has been a little bit of change in service pressure. We have seen them go down the line a bit more.
Again, Harward passes it way off the net. She'll chip it. Rodriguez generated this opportunity for herself. Oh, cutback miss. Just wide.
We always talk about service pressure, but oftentimes we don't talk about how important it is in terms of setting up your defense. If you can get the opponents to have that pass off the net, the set off the net, it becomes so much more predictable, allowing your defense to transition more points. Missed opportunity on that last one for Rodriguez in that regard.
Harward also ready for a Bunsen burner. Not ready for an ace there as that ball carries just a bit long. Jeannie Arango not only deadly from the service line, but when that ball is in, she's making a lot of plays.
Absolutely, Jeannie Arango. 14.5 kills per set. That was from 2024.
Yeah, but that 9 digs per set, just generating endless opportunities. Here she'll be the setter. Nice little quick step in offense, and that's another winner for Rodriguez. 10-6.
Whether that is a set play or just wild explosiveness from Tony Rodriguez, she really had to get quick and into the exterior of the court to be able to find a nice attack on that ball.
8-2 the run, and timeout called now by Dallas.
One of the adjustments you might find here is the fact that Haley Harward is seeing most of the side out. Maybe you have to Berg step up a bit more, find the option play, and try and attack, releasing some of that pressure.
Remember, this is match number 2 of our 4 matches on the evening. Anytime you come to an AVP League event, you'll get an opportunity to see 4 matches, 2 men's, 2 women's, as the city teams match up. A look at our match records last year. Cheng and Hughes, who unfortunately won't be back due to an injury to Sarah Hughes. She'll be rehabbing all year long. Cheng requalifying with Molly Shaw. Amanda Paredes and Wilkerson, who'll be in action next. They are 5-3 off of last season. They'll be looking to get off to a quick start against Brooklyn. They're going to face Lexi Denneberg and Julia Donlin, and that is Scholes, who participated in the league last year. Lots of good energy here for the young women of the developmental programs of beach volleyball. Second set action, 10-6, a resurgent San Diego Smash, and Jeannie Arango, alongside her partner, have gotten themselves back in this match. Kevin Barnett with Cameron Irwin, as that ball is chopped for a winner by Kylie DeBerg and Haley Harward.
But what was the result, right? Trying to be more aggressive for Kylie DeBerg after that first contact from Haley Harward. They immediately go right to the option, trying to just send that into the deep corner. San Diego was well prepared, just not able to execute.
Ace on the line.
Both teams trying to have that service pressure, but actually being a little bit more placement conscious here in this second set.
Well, we talked to a lot of players before this weekend. They said it is a conundrum. You must be aggressive, but it must be in. Chopped down the line. Ends that 3-point run. San Diego still with plenty of room. And a lot more success in the second set.
Good,
service line.
good opportunity option here, again, considering the fact Rodriguez has to serve, run up to the net, gives a little bit more time for DeBerg to get a look on the other side.
Short serve. Option chipped. Urango all over it. But misses off the cable.
Oh, that hurts. They were in the right spot. They read it perfectly. The short serve also trying to eliminate some of that option. However, what a lift from Haley Harwood.
Kind of getting back to the start of that first set. A couple of errors by San Diego when they had an obvious opportunity to score. Will those be costly again here in the second? Nice high set there. Touch by DeBerg is not enough.
Just play clean, simple volleyball. That's what you saw in that last rally from Gina Urango. Held the platform a second longer. You saw a higher set, just trying to make sure they get back into system and get the serve back on their side.
Urango gets one up high from DeBerg. Do you like more on two from her?
Absolutely,
okay.
But I also like more aggressive on-two from her. The last two on-twos, AKA options, she's actually shot the ball into the angle, and the defensive alignment has been great. So again, you see the angle block in front that time, having to turn to rip the ball back to the line.
13-10. It was San Diego running out of time in a similar situation in set one. Here it's Dallas. Focus and routine from the service line for Rodriguez. She's at the net, pulling again. Another dig. How aggressive will she be? No, standing down ball. Ouch.
This feels like way more pulling than we've seen previously from Toni Rodriguez as a blocker. Multiple chances to find transition points after those peel digs.
Back-to-back failed transitions from San Diego here. Leaving the door open. Another error, and here comes Dallas. There is no room for the San Diego smash here. They have not used their timeout until right now.
When they were in a bit of a predicament just a few points ago, we talked about simplifying their offense, right? They went with a high pass, high set. That time, they were forced into a little bit more of that tempo offense. A lower trajectory set means you have fewer opportunities to go up against that block, especially in terms of the timing. So Urango tried to find the cut shot, but just not a whole lot of room to go.
See Chase Budinger there. The men's sides hanging around, trying to cheer on their women's sides. The Smiles retake the Dallas Dream, who lead 1-0 and are on the offensive, still trailing by 1 here in the second. Let's get down on the sand with Case Patterson. Case.
Well, not quite in the sand. Feels weird with shoes on, I'm not going to lie. But I talked to Gina earlier about the whole partnership with Toni, Kylie, like, hey, they're traveling national, having success. How does that affect you? She's like, it doesn't affect me at all. If anything, it makes Toni even better, which you saw. She's making great pulls, scooping like she's a defender. So I think, if anything, it's strengthened their team because it's given Toni some really good international experience. And so, you know, their mentality is, look, we're just going back to work, same as last year, and ready to ride. So great mentality out of Gina and Toni for this, even though they've had, you know, an interesting start to the season with partnership and travel.
Late second set action. Dallas Dream, San Diego Smash, 13-12. Smash with the lead for now, trailing 1-0. Dallas Dream on a scoring run. Working on Urango. Push to that right side, and she will find the antenna. Another error, plaguing San Diego in what looked like control of the second set.
Yeah, but this is where you start to wonder a little bit because of the time not spent on the court together. That set is just barely wide, those little minute timing differences.
They'll stay with Urango. DeBerg got one. Can she get another? Going for the Kong block. She'll have to hit it. Urango, high ball. Fills the corner. Clutch play.
And clutch performance from a decision-making standpoint. They work 2 high ball sets straight up and down, go back to what you know, clean and simple.
Set point, San Diego. Does Gina go for it? DeBerg, right into Rodriguez. And let it out, Gina Urango. A deuce win in the second set.
She had been pulling and pulling and pulling. That time she delayed her block, found the shot block. Rodriguez is next level on the decision-making standpoint right now.
Her 2025 is full of sometimes. Sometimes the defenders, sometimes the blockers, sometimes staying at the net. That block right there shuts the door on a potential comeback by the Dream as we'll head to our third set in our first women's matchup of 2025. 15-13, 15-13, close action in this championship rematch.
The guy in the pink shorts, that guy's the dancer? Oh, he is. That finger says he is not the dancer.
Gina Urango was MVP last year in this mid part of her career. She's blossoming in. Let's look back.
Gina Urango.
What delivery! Option play into the corner for Urango. What a dig from Urango! Urango's on it again, another digging rep. Quick to the line.
Not unfamiliar with the pressure. Gina Urango, 14.5 kills last year. That 9 digs, a massive number, league-wide by far the #1. And another number that this pair is quite familiar with, Cameron Irwin.
How about third sets? They had 10 league matches last year. 7 of the 10 went to 3, winning 4 of them. So 70% of the league matches, again, going to 3, and they won 58%. And I even did a little bit more math because they had 20 AVP matches last year, including some of the Heritage Series event. It even went further. 9 of the 20 went to 3. This team just loves to push it to the limit.
On court right now, warming up to see the Palm Beach Passion. That's Brandy Wilkerson and Melissa Humana Paredes. Taking some swings, the left-handed Brandy Wilkerson, the silver medalist, will be joining you on CBS Sports Network coming up top of the hour. Cut shot there. They're going to face off against Lexi Denneberg and her partner for this season, Julia Donlin. That's Julia Scholes.
Looking at some of the numbers for this matchup, one that stands out the most. Guess who's the dig leader in this match thus far?
Not Gina Urango.
It is Tony Rodriguez, 8 total digs. Again, I've talked about it. She continues to pull off the net, find good touches. If she can turn 1, 2 more of those, they could take this third set.
Well, she's also leading in fire and enthusiasm despite being sick for most of the week, coming off a victory in China. Said she hasn't been in the sand. She's just been struggling to feel well enough to travel. Can she feel well enough to pull out a third set victory here for the San Diego Smash? Kevin Barnett, Cameron Irwin, Olympian Casey Patterson from Delray Beach Tennis Center here in beautiful Florida. Third set underway. Urango, perfect set. That one will be dug high. DeBerg chips it long. Couple of errors almost cost them that second set. They were in a dominant position. At one point leading 10-6, 12-9, looking like they were going to win that set going away. They end up winning 15-13 in their first set point opportunity, the San Diego Smash. Service playing a huge part of that.
In this third set, how impactful can Kylie DeBerg's block be? She has yet to find one in this match.
You wanted her to be aggressive on 2. That looked a little passive.
Not so much passive. It was just a tough opportunity because she knows they're blocking her into the angle. So to try and pull that back down the line, again, it's taking away what the hitter wants to do, forcing them to be uncomfortable. That was a great example.
This time she'll set her partner. And her partner will miss. Back-to-back misses from Dallas. And it's a dream start for San Diego.
You're just starting to see from both of these teams minor errors, little adjustments, right? Some of the set locations for San Diego Smash and even for the Dallas Dream. It makes you wonder how much time on the court with one another, and that's going to be cleaned up as the league goes on.
DeBerg saves it. Rodriguez feed to Berg. Harward with the sprint down. And another block. The big toe with the stuff.
Number 4 on the match. Again, between these two blockers and international teammates, 0 blocks for Kylie DeBerg, and the 4th for Tony Rodriguez.
Everybody talks about quick starts and how necessary they are. 4-0. A fast start forces a timeout from Dallas. Remember, 1 timeout per team per set. So that's it. Dallas going to be a passenger from here on. A couple of titles at stake this year. We have 8 teams on each of the gendered sides. We have an 8-week season followed by the championship in Chicago coming up at the end of August, the traditional end to the AVP season. There's the AVP League Cup, the Constructors Championship in F1 parlance, a regular season title awarded to the City franchise with the best record combining both the men's and the women's results. We'll use the points as a tiebreaker. Don't worry too much about that right now here in week 1. Last year, New York Nitro went 12-4. They would have won the AVP League Cup. Now the championship, that'll be a 16 per gender event in August. There'll be a single elimination bracket. You qualify that with your own individual record throughout league play. Can Dallas get on the board here in the 3rd? There's Gina Urango with the dig. Scoop from her partner. And the put away. 5-0. Someone call the police.
We're not in Hawaii. Urango, though, I love that attack. Just a little bit of a hezzy at the top of her jump, sees the block form, and decides to go with the cut.
Still to Harward. Harward will cross over. So will Urango, another dig. Angle last time, line this time. Oh, that's cagey. Let me check. Yep, Gina, that's legal for you.
That is just dirty, dirty, dirty. Fantastic heads-up play, Gina Urango.
An 8-0 run for the San Diego Smash. And yes, everyone, that is correct. 9-0 on the ace. Going all the way back to the end of the previous set. San Diego tearing it up.
That thing still might be spinning. So much side contact from Urango, driving that ball to the line.
Chess match from the service line, this time the other way. And it's another ace.
When did the MVP chant start? Is it now?
8-0, 10-0 the run. We're gonna have to go to the record books. Have we had an 8-0 switch?
I mean, we have the statistician standing next to us.
Hey, somebody call Scotty Rogers, get him on that from last year. Our man from Utah, looking for 9 of the smash. Urango, another dig. Shoot to the outside.
No touch?
No touch.
How about a head-to-head battle between Scotty Rogers and Doug Strauss?
A stat off?
A stat off.
8-1.
That's an amazing pass.
Yeah, good serve from DeBerg. Rodriguez will get just enough of it off of the block. 9-1. So what was in doubt with a 15-13, 15-13, the first 2 sets now looks like it's in the bag for San Diego. It would take something special for the Dallas Dream to get back in this one. Short serve. Been working on increased service strategy. Rodriguez and Urango. Back set, cut shot, winner, double digits on the board.
I mean, Gina Urango is everywhere. Haley Harward cannot find a way to get the ball to the sand because Urango is in the pocket every single time as to where she's facing. So impressive again. And then look at this clean, simple transition. They talked about this with us. One of the things they focused on last year is creating a little more space off the net in these league settings. The sand is a little bit more jumpy. You got to give more space, and they did exactly that on the transition play.
Another missed opportunity there for San Diego. Rodriguez left chasing, but her blocking game is dialing in. So early on, it took San Diego 10 points in this match to score their first real point. That came off service. Now all of a sudden, the block and the defense are there.
Right, block and defense, yet again another from Rodriguez.
3 French fries on the board. 11-1.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
No, I think that's new. Limited time only. That one will find its way to the sand. There was still some smiles on the side of Dallas for a little while, but they look fairly frustrated now as they trail 11-2, looking at their 3rd straight loss to the San Diego Smash, inclusive of last year's championship. That ball may have carried long. Urango, perfect pass anyway. And she'll take a big cut at it. One-time indoor outside hitter, 12-2.
Hey, Gina Urango, take a bet on yourself. Love it. Her partner calls out of bounds, sticks that platform out. Absolutely flawless pass. Wants her own look at the side out.
Miss into the net, 13-2. Cam, I know you like looking at the gaps, the margin of victory. San Diego's going to build one here. Option taken, and right off the visor of Tony Rodriguez.
Again, it's important to, even though this loss might go the direction of the Dallas Dream here, still being able to get a 3-set loss does help you in the standings as well when it comes down to some of those tiebreakers late in the season.
Right, remember it's going to be determined by your record, but then if there is a tie in the overall record, your points will matter. You get 3 points for a 2-0 victory. If you force a 3rd set but lose, you get 1 point, as that ball is put away by DeBerg. So if you win in 3 sets, you get 2 points. That's how you do it, 3, 2, or 1. 13-4, DeBerg. Chip shot, that'll have to go. Rodriguez, a lot of line, and she works with it.
It is a match point.
I like the look. Yet again, Rodriguez, just a nice gather at the bottom, just a 50% jump placement on the attack.
Match point number 1, San Diego. The league's top server last season for the first win this year. A net violation. Negate any possible dig.
I mean, that always happens. That was a perfect dig. Jeannie Urango finding a way to steal that from the sideline. That always happens, though. Blocker in the net. No good.
Second match point opportunity. Urango. She'll take another big cut. This time the left-handed DeBerg is in the way.
That's a first block from DeBerg. Maybe a little too late here.
3rd match point.
Oh, that was a monster block. I apologize, everybody. That one's on me. Maybe we'll give it to him after the match.
Palm Beach Passion, Brooklyn Blaze upcoming as that one floats deep to the corner. Urango from the overhead set. Straight into Harward. Oh. Nice shot! Haley Harward, soft touch.
There's the smiles from DeBerg and Harward. One of the most difficult sets is one that you have to pull out of the net. DeBerg drops down just like she should and fishes that one up.
In almost any other situation, 4 match points would cause someone to call a timeout. Here, a giant lead. 5-2 run. That one dug over and in. How about that? A 6-2 run, and it'll be a 5th match point after they take a breather.
Oh man, that's a good way to build some momentum. You got to have a couple funky points, some big block points, and we're starting to see a little bit of it all from the Dallas Dream.
How about that? You fight off 4 match points, and you still find yourself in a really difficult situation. That is highly unusual, but it is because of an 8-0 start to begin this set for the San Diego Smash. That digs per match, all players. Look at this, they are 12.3. Gina Rango's 9.1. Good numbers there from both of those players. Is it the blenders?
It's got to be.
Is it the other glasses? What is it? What do you think about clear glasses? Would you go clear glasses at night for your sponsor?
100%. I know what happened to Stafford Slick.
Oh, good call.
All I heard is
We have 2 more matches tonight. The women's action will continue next. The Palm Beach Passion, Melissa Humana Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson will face off with Lexi Denneberg and Julia Donlin of the Brooklyn Blaze. A couple of 32-year-olds against a couple of 23-year-olds, a generational matchup with aspiring Olympians facing off with Olympic medalists. Match point number 5 for the San Diego Smash. Looking for a split on the evening are the Smash with Dallas, and that'll do it. A little chip on 2, calmly done. An 8-0 run to open the 3rd set is the longest run by any team, male or female, in league history. And that gave them enough runway as you see the partners get together.
Say, hey, don't worry, we still got our gold to celebrate from a week ago.
Gold on the FIVB Tour, perhaps an exciting Olympic future together for Gina Yarango, another league victory. I was hoping they'd come out in the championship belts tonight.
I thought one of them would.
They came out with championship form in the 3rd.
If it was one, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would go with Tony.
Tony, for sure.
I would go with Tony. So our early portion of the evening has ended with a split. The Dream and the Smash. The women of the San Diego Smash come out with a victory 15-7. The men of the Dallas Dream came for the victory earlier. We'll see you on CBS Sports Network for our next women's match from Delray Beach in Florida.